Welcome to Clubhouse, where we're going to talk about connecting, collaborating, and even possibly cashing in a little bit. My name is Dante St. James. I'll be taking you through this a bit of an introduction to the Clubhouse platform, how you can get invited, how you can participate in this great platform as well, some of the ideas to get the most out of it, and of course, we'd like to see you be able to cash in a little bit with it as well. Now, I do have some on-screen stuff going on, so I'll be able to connect you through to how it actually looks on screen. And we'll be sharing that screen a little bit later on and doing some real things in the app. Hopefully I need to turn down the volume. So that's something I'll do straight away, is turn down the volume so I don't get caught out with too much going on the phone and too much noise coming through the microphone. Let's get underway. I'll just share my screen and we'll start the process of learning how you can get the most out of this new platform and how you might be able to even make it a source of new business. And that's what we're all ultimately after, isn't it? A quote from Anderson Cooper from CNN in the US is that when Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are using it and China is banning it, you know that something important is happening. And this particular app it's like classic Silicon Valley stuff. It's been venture capital funded. It's got no way of making money just yet. But with the amount of people that are on it, it's approaching about 40 million now. And then it's going to explode onto other platforms beyond just Apple. We're expecting some really big things from it. So let's continue on our journey into the Clubhouse rabbit hole. What we're going to look at today is what Clubhouse is, how it works, the opportunity that Clubhouse actually presents to us, and some early case studies I'll look at, some ideas of how you might be able to do it. Might even talk about the future of Clubhouse and getting you an invitation to it as well. And hopefully, if you're watching this live, you'll be able to get an invitation straight after this particular presentation. If not, though, we're hoping that we can give away some invitations to those people who are waiting for them on YouTube. Now, if you are on YouTube, you can watch more about it a little bit later on. We've got some details for you. This is brought to you, though, by the Business Station and the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solutions Program, an Australian government initiative in partnership with Business Station in Western Australia, Regional Development Australia, Brisbane in Queensland, and Treaty Business Consulting based out of Darwin in the Northern Territory. We will be playing this a little bit later on in YouTube, so being recorded, and it's going to be put into YouTube for your use and watching a little bit later on the Business Station channel and also on my channel, Dante St. James. I've got the connections through to all that stuff a little bit later on. A bit about me before I continue too far in is that my education through Western Sydney University, University of New South Wales. We've done business systems, business information systems, IT and marketing. I've also done a lot of qualifications through the Chartered Institute of Marketing. And actually, I think this year's the year that I have to renew my membership and renew my qualifications. So every couple of years, you have to do an exam and keep that one relevant. I've also done a lot of stuff through TAFE New South Wales. I've got about 7 different certifications through them. Look, I've just got tons of certifications. Let's not get too deep into that. But importantly, I work with Facebook as a digital marketing associate and lead trainer, and I work with Google's Digital Springboard program in conjunction with a number of government programs. Be Connected, ASBAS Digital Solutions, which is bringing you this particular webinar, and new business assistance with the new Enterprise Incentive Scheme program as part of the Australian government as well. Really happy to be working with so many programs that are helping businesses to not just stabilize in rough times, but grow and thrive in them as well. So what exactly is this Clubhouse thing? What's it doing? Where's it going? What's the whole point of it? Because it just seems like a whole storm in a teacup. A lot of people are getting on board of this, and some people are comparing it to Google Wave, if you even remember what that is. Got nothing to do with that. Some people are calling it talkback radio. Well, in that case, they're kind of not too far off the main gist of what it is. It is something where you can chat in real time. This is not recordings. This is not podcasts. Podcasts, you can click in and go through the archive and listen to it when you've got the chance to listen to it. This is live. It's very real time. Recording doesn't happen on the app. I guess there's other ways of recording it, but for privacy, it's encouraged that people do not record anything that goes on in Clubhouse for the same reason you don't screenshot on Snapchat. Private conversations could be happening. People may not want to know that their information or opinions are being shared outside of Clubhouse. there's a bit of an attitude of what happens on Clubhouse stays on Clubhouse. You can share stories about different things. So for instance, if someone's opened up a one of the more popular kind of rooms, and that's what they call the channels, rooms, that has been very common, is called Shoot Your Shot. And it's all about having the guts to have a go at pitching yourself to someone else in that room as a potential partner, or to go on a date. And around Valentine's Day, that was particularly popular. You can also collaborate, and this is where it gets really interesting. Collaboration on Clubhouse is about bringing people together for a conversation. So if you've got a thing like, say, for instance, I'm looking for ideas about X, you can open up a room that allows you to bring other people in, complete strangers, or you can invite people and make it a private room so that then you're just chatting with people who you know and people who you understand are going to treat this topic as seriously as you. It's also a place where you can bounce those ideas off. So for instance, if you want to go, another one is like make your pitch. That's the kind of rooms that open up and say, okay, pitch your idea to the world and get some opinions and feedback from a bunch of people coming in. Now, some people who've been coming in, people like Mark Andreessen from Andreessen Horowitz, which is one of the largest venture capital funding companies in the world. They're always looking for new ideas, and they've noticed that a lot of the new ideas are starting to be produced on the Clubhouse app. So it's been a great place for them to come in. But then there's also things where you can bounce ideas, and anyone from Mark Zuckerberg to Elon Musk to me could drop into those channels and listen to what's sort of going on. Now, be warned, most of that sort of stuff is happening in America with American voices and for American investment. That said, though, doesn't mean it only has to be America. We've got plenty going on in Australia as well, with opportunities for Aussies to do just as well on platforms like Clubhouse, just like the Americans can. And in fact, I'm pretty much only participating in things within Australia these days, and a couple in New Zealand as well. And there's ways and tricks you can actually cultivate your rooms and your experience on Clubhouse. Now, there are hundreds of little talkback radio stations on here, and it's a bit like talkback radio stations where you can be invited in to become a caller, or be invited, what they call bring you up on stage or bring you up as a speaker. And we'll see when we go into the app that there's a lot of scope, I guess, for you to speak amongst other people. Now, if you go into someone else's room, you're not immediately joining as a speaker. You're coming in as a listener, but you can be invited on. Just like being on hold on a talkback radio station, you're not invited on air straight away, but eventually you do get on after a while, and you get to have your say with the talkback radio host. So this is like that, but there's hundreds of individual stations and hundreds of individual topics all going at one time, coming in, coming out, being scheduled in, being finished and getting out. Some of them last as quick as 15 minutes. Others have been going 24/7 with lots of groups of people around the world continuing to make that room continually open all the time. So the rooms you hop into are completely up to you. You may hop in one that's been just going for 5 minutes, or you could be hopping in one that's been already going for 5 hours and just about to close down. How you choose to go in there, well, that's completely and utterly up to you. Now, you listen in on what is called a room. So this is roughly what a room looks like over here. You've got like a list of people in a room, or your list of people who you're connected to, or you can start your own. So you can jump into another room that's already going, or you can start your own room. Now, obviously, if you're new to the platform, you won't be starting your own room because there's nobody to come and join you in that room. It's very unlikely that anyone's going to discover that until you join a club and you create a room within that club. And I've got a little bit more on that later, so you can get a bit better of an idea of what we're talking about here. How you get started with Clubhouse is that you have to get registered, and then you have to get an invitation. At the moment, it is an invitation-only environment, a bit like Gmail was when it first started. If you can remember that far, you had to be invited by someone already on Gmail to join Gmail. It's a way of, I guess, making it so that it was very exclusive to start with, and to help the companies scale themselves up gently, rather than having a billion people just suddenly jumping on the platform and their costs and their IT getting way out of control of what they're able to achieve. So this is a little bit what it looks like. You go into the App Store. So it is only available on Apple at the moment. So if you've got an Android phone, you won't be able to participate just for now. It's believed in a couple of months, even as little as a month, that the Android app will become available as well. And the whole platform will open up to pretty much everybody. Now they're in beta mode right now, which means they're testing a lot of stuff out. There's still a few bugs they're trying to iron out. So sometimes it gets a little bit, a bit funny, but by and large, it's actually doing pretty damn fine. So what you got to do, you got to sign up to see if you have friends on Clubhouse who can let you in. And by going that, there are people who are connected to your contacts on your phone. So be aware that you are sharing your contacts on your phone with Clubhouse. Now, how they use that in their privacy policies, they obviously have to have one. So you might want to read that first to make sure that you're not annoying other people who don't really want to have their particular, their details shared with a third-party app. So make sure you check that with your list. But pretty much that's how it works. You get on there, you wait to be matched with someone who's already on there, who's got you in their contacts. They'll be pinged to say, hey, do you want to share your invite? Do you want to share your invites? Because as you become a member, you get like 3 invites to be able to give to any old person at all. So those invites are able to be given to people that you think would be good on Clubhouse, and anyone you like, really, for any reason you'd like to bring them in. But you only do get 3 to start with. As you interact more on the app, particularly when you start rooms of your own and you start to open up rooms within clubs, then you start getting them. So at one stage I went from 3 to 6 to 9. I've given all of those away. And every time I open a room, I seem to get another 3 popping in. So the key is there to open rooms, get invited up and to speak in rooms as well. That will give you more invites to give out. So you can add a few more people pretty much every day, as long as you're active and contributing on the platform, not just sitting there and just, playing around and listening and not really doing much else, but just consuming content on there. Now, getting an invitation is a matter of, number one, having an iPhone or an iPad. Only for now. That will change. I reckon about a month to 45 days, that will be changed completely. One of your iPhone contacts has to be on Clubhouse in order to invite you. So if you pop on there, you've signed up and you're in their contacts as well, they will then get a ping through their particular Clubhouse app saying that you've actually just got in and requested, and then they get prompted to send you an invite if they've got one there. Now, it doesn't mean they have to invite you. You invite whoever they like. But it usually how it works is if someone is like a contact and someone who you maybe have a client, or you are a client of someone or a friend of someone, then that will happen. This afternoon, a client of mine, we'll talk about Clubhouse. He said, I've been waiting for 2 months now to get an invite. I really want to get on there and talk about Bitcoin stuff and listen to people talk about that. And I'm like, you know what, mate, I've got invites. I had no idea you wanted to be on it. So I sent him an invite, and it all started to happen. And then within 2 minutes, he was on there and participating as well. So I'm looking forward to see what Luke gets up to when he gets onto Clubhouse too. Now, one of the things you will do when you first get onto the platform, even before you're allowed in to do something, is to choose a username. And I would say choose your username wisely, because you've only got one chance to change it after you've selected it. So if you don't choose the right one straight away, in all of your history on the platform, you'll only get one chance to do it again. So you want to make sure that that particular username is identifiable. So for instance, in my case, I want it to have something to do with me. So it's not just going to be, think big guy, or I'm going to say, big fat digital or something like that. I want it to be something that relates actually to me, and it has a little bit of my name in there as well. You want it to be searchable. Now, what I've made mine is something searchable for the word digital. So the word digital is in my username. So I want to be searchable for that particular word, and make it memorable. Something that's easy to just remember for you, primarily because you're the person going to be telling others what your username is. If your username is something like, GSX33QFILND, you're not going to remember that. But something that's real words or based upon your name. So for instance, if your name is James Sheffield, then James Sheffield, as long as it comes in at under 15 characters, that is the maximum that you've got to work with, then you'll be fine. But you've got to be under that 15 characters. Otherwise, it's not going to particularly come together too well for you. And you might be like one of those number plates, vanity number plates you see on the road, where you can kind of get where they were going, but they just needed one more character to make it really readable and legible. So make sure it's identifiable as you. It's searchable as you and for what you do, or a combination of both, and make it memorable, because it's got to be only 15 characters. You haven't got a world of characters to work with. You got to make use of every letter you possibly can to make it really work for you. So for instance, I went in originally as Dante and James, because I thought, yeah, why not? I'll give that a try. But as I've gone in there a bit more, I've wanted to go, you know what? I actually want to be found not just for my name, but also for a little bit of what I do. So I could have said Facebook Dante, I could have said FB, social, trainer, ASBAS, all those things. But what I really want to be found for is the word digital. So for digital marketing, digital solutions, digital business, anything digital, I want to be sort of in that mix for it. So let's say your name is Jessica Simpson. I just chose that completely off the off the top of the bat there. You may do fitness and do a PT. So something like Get Fit with Jess fits within the 15 characters and actually would work really well for you, instead of just Jessica Simpson. Because if you're just going with your name, there may be someone out there who's got that name already in the platform. Coach Paula could be for someone who's a coach. She does lifestyle coaching and life coaching and all that sort of thing. And she wants to be found for being a coach, but she also wants to be found for her name, Paula. Or something for her easy for her to remember. Coach Paula is a very easy username for her to remember, to tell her potential followers on other platforms like Facebook, for instance, and Instagram and LinkedIn. Farmer Pete could be a good one for Pete, although he might use his name as well. What if he's actually based in Queensland? He wants to be found for Queensland. He might call himself Queensland Pete, or Peter Marburg if that's his full name. So you got a few different options there. He's a farmer. He's in Queensland. His last name is Marburg. So Farmer Pete, Queensland Pete, or Peter Marburg could all be good usernames for him. Or Allison Accounts. If you're an accountant, you want to be connected with accounts or the word accounting, then this is a way to do that as well. Now, be aware that this platform is going to fill up very quickly as soon as it opens to the rest of the world. At the moment, it's a very limited release. So there's a bit of a land grab going on for people to have names of rooms and names of particular user names. So Digital Dante, that's it. I'm just going to go with that. That was the one that seems to fit really well for me. I've done my one change. Just remember though, you put if you put in a name, test it out a bit, if it's, especially if it's something that's beyond your name, it's just something that more to do with what you do or something funny and amusing, give it a test run for a couple of weeks, see how you feel with that. And then you can sort of move on to other things if you want to, but you only get the one chance to change it for the rest of your time on Clubhouse. So make sure you do choose wisely the first time, and even more wisely the second. I'm already having a little bit of regret about changing it to Digital Dante, but why? There's no reason to. It's actually kind of a cool username. Now, when it comes to connecting with people, following people, and finding rooms, you've got to sort of understand how Clubhouse works. So it works around people, it works around clubs, and it works around categories. So when we look at those things, what we're essentially looking at is the ability for you to search for individuals, search for clubs, so that's grouping of people and grouping of lots of different rooms. So a club has lots of rooms. Think of it that way. Lots of people can go into a room. There's lots of rooms in a club. So that's a way of thinking of it. And you've got lots of categories. So when you go to the search screen, which we're going to go when we go live on screen, which hopefully this works, because it's going to be really embarrassing if it doesn't. I did have it working before. It's going to make it work again. So if you're doing that, then you've got to make sure that you've got the ability to look for that kind of, think of categories as interests, the things that you're interested in talking about. I suppose that's the best way to think about it, because that's where you're going to find things that you really, really want to be talking about or listening to. It's a bit different, I guess, than using talkback radio, because talkback radio, you don't know what the topics are. You can't search the topics and just jump into them. You've got to be listening for the topic to come up and then go, oh, yes, I want to be in that. So that's a big difference when it comes to something like Clubhouse or Stereo, which is another clone app that's just like it that's come about, that they give you the option to find the things you're interested in. And that then also feeds the algorithm that then recommends new things for you. So particularly if you're interested in digital marketing, then you will be delivered a lot more stuff on digital marketing. Or if you're interested in business growth, for instance, you'll be delivered a lot more rooms that have got to do with business growth as well. And if you're into something like macrame, raffia hat making, or crafts, arts and crafts, you can get a lot of that too. So what we're going to do now is go live. I'm going to stop sharing this particular screen. I'm going to pop up to my other screen where we're going to see a little bit more about how it does work. Now let's see how this works. Desktop 3. Sharing. Oh, look at that. I think we got it. I think we got it made. So we're in my phone at the moment. Get past all my stuff. So on my front screen, I've got all my stuff set up. Now, first of all, I'm going to show you on the App Store where you can actually find the app. So we're going to search for Clubhouse. So in Clubhouse, it's this one. You can just type Clubhouse, but you can also go Clubhouse drop-in audio chat. Now, what it's going to do, there's this clone called Stereo, which is what's come in after Clubhouse's success. That's an ad. You want to go this next one, Clubhouse drop-in audio chat. So what you can do is have a look at it. Now, I've already put mine in there, but you can look in here, go through those screens and see what it kind of looks like. So you get an idea. Okay, it's a bit of it's a very boring interface. Trust me, it's not that particularly exciting to look at, but that one is diving. That's already the wrong one. This one here, Clubhouse. There we go. They've only got the one screen they're sharing with that. So they're adding people as fast as they possibly can. Now I'm going to open this up because I've already done it. So I'm going to go to my home screen. I walk into Clubhouse and this is what I see. So I see a schedule of things that are coming up here in the top. So when you see those things like Vegemite on Toast, Aussie Business Setting Goals, or the Kiwi Club, or the Marketers Assemble, I actually want to hop on that one after this call, I think. And that's when you can go, okay, that's the stuff you can join in later on. So 6:30 p.m., which is my time. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to tap on that and I want to be part of that. I want to be reminded of that. So it sounds good. As I'm a member of this, it's going to be notified when that begins. So it's going to pop up on my screen. So once I've done that, then I can look through and go, well, until 6:30, which for me is about 40 minutes away, I can look through all the other stuff that's on here. So anything that really takes my fancy. This is what I call the hallway of the club, of the Clubhouse. So you go in and you can look at all these different rooms. Now, these are all based on the things that I've shown an interest in and the activity I've had on the particular app. So I can see there that someone's just come up, and Luke, the guy who I invited earlier on, he's now joined what I call Vegemite on Toast, which is my favorite club, which is an Australian club, really. There's a couple of other Australian clubs too, but that particular one I like because it's got lots and lots of people who are small business owners and people who are into investments and business growth and different ways of living apart from just getting jobs. So they're really great people, and they seem to be very friendly as well. So let's go down through the rooms. So we've got this one, the nice room for nice people only. Now there's no indication on here of where this club is located. Clubs are global by nature unless you go through a club. So this room would be full of people from all over the place. But if I wanted to look at the clubs that I'm part of, now clubs is something which you either have to be invited into. So for instance, I invited Luke in earlier and he's now been approved to come in. Then he will become part of that. My clubs, I swipe left for, and you can see I'm a member of 3 clubs that are active, which is the Vegemite on Toast. Go back here. So that lets me go in that particular room in there. I'm not actually doing a room, so I'm going to go back out of there. There's also the small business owners, I don't know what the word is, small business owners worldwide. So that's a group which I looked at as a potential thing to join. Like, honestly, it's very, very high pressure, high sales, high American kind of approach. Sunshine Coast business owners, which is a really cool one. I'm not a business owner on the Sunshine Coast, but I really do like the idea that there is people on there who I can become, connected with. So I've just accidentally joined a room, so I'm going to get out of there. I started a room with my friends. So that was a little accident. You're going to make lots of mistakes like these all the time. So I'll join in this one another time so I can actually show them how to show them around that. Now, if I move back out here, I start going marketing it works in 2021. That one's been going since early this morning, probably a lot longer. Healthcare professionals, Aotearoa, New Zealand. So if you want to go to a New Zealand room, Gold Coast, Australia. I spend a lot of time on the Gold Coast. That's one I would probably join if I was around. Female founders and CEOs is a quiet room. Now, quiet rooms don't have any talk in them. They're just somewhere for people to go and follow and connect with and just have offline conversations. So they don't tend to be talking in the room. They talk offline. So they're just there to look at each other's bios and connect with each other. So let's pop in, I guess, to a room and we'll be able to see some stuff. So Todd, William, Paul, Spain, talking the Kiwi Club room because I'm connected to them. So it's inviting me to go into that particular club. So you're seeing everything happening very much live. There's a lot of activity going on here. I want to check back through my notifications. This little bell at the top is going to see, okay, Luke Hansen accepted my invite. Basha has followed me. Neil has followed me. All happened in the last hour. So that's really good to know. I've got people following me and new people coming on all the time, which is great. So how I get those in there, even though I have not been on the Clubhouse for the last few hours, is because they have just looked up and found me in some way. And how they do that is they come across my profile. So let's go for a little search. Search at the top left. And I can search for myself. Let's just so Dante St. James. There we go at the top. And I've formed a bio about myself. So I've said a little bit about myself. Now this part, the top bit here, we're transforming confused and hesitant business owners. That little block there is enough that fits perfectly into the bio that shows when someone just clicks on my head and wants to see a little bit about me. So it's not a lot of stuff in there. But then you can continue more down there. So I can go, okay, here's my Facebook, here's my Instagram, here's my LinkedIn, here's my email if you want to send me an email. Here's a little bit of what I'm working with now. Here's the current businesses that I own and run. Here's my education. Here's a little bit more about the things I love to talk about. So I like to put a little bit of personality in there. And I've got, you can book me at thedantestjames.com. Now, the other thing I've got into here too is I'm coming to your town in 2021. So I've got a list of all the places I'm visiting in 2021. And you can see Bali down the bottom. I've actually made some international bookings to go away in November. So let's hope that actually happens. But in this bio is a way for you to really make yourself shine. And I encourage you to do as much as you can with your bio, just to make sure that people notice you and they can see what's going on. This is a fairly common kind of look. I've just gone with colors because I think it looks nice and bright and keeps people interested. And I've got a lot of information in there. You've got a lot more information you can go with there. One of the things you can have on here though, is that you can connect through to your Instagram and your Twitter profiles so that people can go straight to you, to your profiles and connect with you there as well. There's no connection through to any other networks except for Twitter and for Instagram. So no Facebook, no Google, no TikTok, none of that. You're just going to go for Instagram and Twitter. Now, of course, what I've found in Australia, because we're not heavy Twitter users, is that just about everybody is saying, hey, come and DM me. When they say, come and DM me, they're usually talking about Instagram. So if you send them a message on Instagram, it's to DM them or to connect with them and send a message to them. A fun little thing that happens is that down the bottom here where you got, I joined the 7th of February and I was nominated by Bronwyn Clee. That's a little badge of honor for Bronwyn to be someone who added me onto the network. So she was the person who invited me and gave me an invite when I went and bought myself an iPhone to join this little club. And she will always be credited as the person who brought me in. So when you bring someone in, if they go really ballistic, you'll always be credited as the person who did. And I can actually click on Bronwyn and it takes me through to hers. She's got lots of followers because she's been working really, really heavily on that. It's a good mate of mine that lives in Darwin. And you can see that she's actually formed her particular kind of bio as well. So she's put like a nice little controversial start to it. A little bit more about her with the TEDx stuff. How she sounds like, which is really cool. So you can actually pronounce her name. She's a nonna to kids, some of the things she believes in, how she helps others. the topics she teaches on, and a bit about her as a person. So she's gone really, really, really well in how she's explained who she is and going into great detail, and connected, of course, through her other stuff as well. So she was nominated by Fanzo. I don't know who he is, but we can go digging down deep and go back into what we call the Clubhouse DNA. So where you've come from, your ancestors on Clubhouse. So he's got 11.8 thousand followers. Brian has done a lot of work. He lives in Brisbane, I think. I want to think Brisbane. I've heard a bit about that, but he's got like lots of information that's personal about him. He's obviously really popular and doing a lot of things, and followed by some pretty important people like Michael Stelzner from Social Media Examiner, Mari Smith, who's like the queen of Facebook, and a whole lot of other people like that. So, and then I can go even further and go, well, he only joined the 9th of November last year, nominated by Lindsay. So let's see, we can go down the rabbit hole. 7,000 people that Lindsay Fultz has got there. So she's, someone who does influencer marketing strategy. She's got a lot of stuff about her there. So you can go down through a rabbit hole and seeing who these people are to get an idea of who they are. And now we're back to me. So I'm following more people than I have following me, but I haven't really invested a huge amount because I've kind of found my people already. And I'm slowly but surely building myself up as a member of this particular platform. So you can also then search for other people. So if I want to search for Elon Musk, there he is. He's one of them. He could be any of them. So he could be any of these ones. This one, I think, is not him. There's people pretending to be him. It could be any of them. This one, 2 million followers. I'd say it's a pretty good chance that this is Elon Musk. So I'm not going to follow him because I actually don't want to receive a lot of spammy stuff from that way. I just want to stick to the people who I want to follow, who are mostly Australian business owners and other Australian influencers who, speak to the same sort of topics that I speak to. I can hop into clubs. So if I wanted to look at clubs, this is for me to look at a whole bunch of clubs that are popular. So if I just look at what comes up, I can look for something, say, for instance, Darwin. And there's a Darwiners Corp. Daring to Suck. I don't know what any of this is, but there's no Darwin-based stuff for me, but I can look for Perth, and it's going to be a bit more. So if I look for Perth, not really a lot going in Perth clubs. Or if I can look for Australia, here's look for a topic that really is something that interests you. So I'm looking for Australia. So we've got Australian Creatives, Australia. There's a club called Australian Small Business Owners. So I'm going to request to join that one, or at least follow it, so that I'll be notified when stuff come in. So I'll be notified when there are conversations that are with the people that I'm actually connected to. So you can see Tracy and Wendy, I'm both following them, and they're part of Australian Small Business Owners. So I'm part of that one now. I'm following it. I'll be notified when their stuff happens. I can also look down a bit more further. So I'm looking at 335 members. A big one down here is Vegemite Toast. That's my favorite little one. That's a particular Australian club that's got probably the bigger following in Australia. So it's a really fun one, lots of people in it, and gives you a chance to see a lot more stuff. So once we've decided what we want to do, we want to follow people, we can also explore down here at the bottom and to find conversations about. So if you want to find conversations about wellness, for instance, if you're into, it'll give you a whole bunch of people who are quite popular influencers in there. So you got Mohit, Aparna, Molly Maloof, Ian Davis, Lisa Abramson. They're all people who are quite interesting people in the space because they're very, very active and have lots and lots of followers. You can go in and look at Mohit's bio. He's got 9,000 followers. So you can see the things he's got. He's got events coming up where he says, what he says events are, they're actually events that he's running on the Clubhouse platform. If I go back to explore, I can go through, maybe I'm looking for, knowledge. So I'm looking to discuss things or listen to things about the future. So in the future, we start to see there's tech talks. So tech talks about the future. You might want to follow that. Bitcoin is a very popular one, 267,000 people. That's a lot of people. So you can go in there and follow that particular club, and then you will be able to then be part of that and see when things happen within that club that might interest you. Design with a purpose or the future of work are also really valuable. You can go through there until you find something you're wanting to do or wanting to see more of. Like the future of food may be something that you're very, very interested in. So that's something which you might want to follow and be notified when there's something going on with it. As I keep going around, we see all these influences in these areas. So we can go arts. We go into things like, arts, maybe advertising. So that's something I'm into. I like advertising. So I'm already following the marketing club and Instagram marketing and the digital marketing society. Not that I really see much from them. They don't seem to do stuff that's in my time zone. They're very much in the West Coast of America, or they're in London. So there's a lot of times I don't really see a lot of stuff that I'd like to. But traffic funnels conversions, that's interesting. It's going to pop up and tell me I'm following it. And I can keep going until I find something that's really, really interesting to me. So SEO, that's a good one for me to follow because I work in SEO. If I was a real estate agent, there's one there for me. Facebook ads for beginners, I'm a bit past the beginners, but I could jump in there to be someone who talks. But with a big group like that, it's probably run by people who are trying to use it as a sales funnel themselves. And there is the opportunity for you to do that in Clubhouse, is to turn what you're doing in Clubhouse into something which is really good for drawing people into your sales funnel and doing things with you. So now I've found sort of the things I want to follow, and I've got my little following here, and I get my this I can just pull it down and refresh. Still, the nice people room is still going. The marketing it works in 2021. What we're going to do is silently, I've got my volume right down, go into into one of these clubs. So I don't want to go into a tiny one because they'll want me to speak. What I'll do is go into a big one like this one. It's got 876 people in it. I tap on the room, and now it shows me all these people. Now turn it back down again. Now, it's thinking I might be sharing, but I might be recording, which I'm not. I'm just sharing it on a screen. So what I can do now is go through and see these people on this screen. Now, the people at the top here that have microphones beside them, they're all muted out, and there's one person who's speaking at a time. These people are all these are all people who are speakers. So they've all been invited up to speak. So as I go down further, you're going to find that we're going to drop off the people who speak, and we're going to go underneath to the people who are no longer speaking. Here we go. So now we've got people who are in the room, but they're followed by the people who are speakers. So we're not seeing these ones aren't speakers because they don't have the microphones next to them. As we go down further, we then get down. There's a lot of people in this room, a lot of people in them. I get down to others in the room. So they're not followed by others in the room. They're not followed by the speakers, and they're not speakers. They're just people who are listening. And they're all the people, I guess, that you really want to be involved with, because they're the people who are going to give you some sort of, well, you're not going to really have any sort of interaction with them apart from just clicking on their bio. And remember, I was telling you there was only like a little bit of the bio that shows when you click on them. That's it there. You have to view the whole profile to see a lot more about Melanie. I come back out of Melanie and I go back up the top, and I want to actually take a look at the guys who are hosting this. So Brielle, she's got a profile that comes up, which is very well written. So she's able to get that. She's got a lot of followers too. I can choose to follow her if that's something I wish to do. Now, I don't want to follow her. I don't actually want to go down that path, because that's not something that I want to really be doing. I don't want to follow people who have got that many followers, because while they might be influencers and quite influential, they're not actually doing things on a topic that I'm interested in. Marketing that works is very interesting, but it's not what I'm looking for. We look at here, we've got the sales angel. So he's got 5.4 thousand followers. He's one of the speakers on stage, and he's got a smart little bio there. If I go in the full one, then we see there's lots and lots and lots of emojis. He's very heavy on emojis, but I can't talk. I've got plenty in mind too. So I can choose to follow any of these people if I would like to. No one's really standing out to me. They're not the people who I want to do. I've already got a bunch of people who I do follow. So if I want to look at the people I follow, then I can go over here, and these are all the people who I might be following at the moment. And they're all available to chat because they're not in rooms already. Like Luke, he's not in a room already, but I can click on his bio. And he is a guy who I was chatting to this afternoon. So I nominated him, brought him in, and he's now a member of the club, the Vegemite on Toast Club that I invited him to. And then I've got all these other people who I'm connected to who I've followed, or they're following me as well. So it's a really good way for you to be able to build a network of people. So you've got Addison down there, who's a bit of a legend. I like to follow the stuff he does. He's very, very active in here. It'll also tell me that, about the things that he's involved with. So in the times of Addison, I can go, okay, we can start a closed room together, which means just a private chat with the two of us, or I can view his full profile, which he said don't do because, he's all down here. He's got a bit of stuff in there. Not a lot of stuff. He actually hasn't got as much stuff as I do. So that's interesting. He's been really developing a good following because he's a very likable guy. People just like him a lot because he's a bit of a bloke, bit of a lad, and people just like him. He's very, very enthusiastic, young, and very into what he's doing. So if I want to look at any of those, I can start private rooms with him, have private chats with him. I should do that with Luke and actually get him in. But chances are he's probably already listening to something else. So he doesn't look like he is, but he probably is. He's probably listening to something else in there. He could be in any of these sort of things. So that's a wrap up of what it kind of looks like in there. Now in here is where I have invites. So I've got 3 invites left to give at the moment. I can go through people who are in my contacts list. I won't hover on that too long, bit of a privacy thing, but then I can actually offer any of those people who may or may not be in, they're not necessarily waiting to get on Clubhouse. They're just people who have come up as being, people who have just come up as being people who are not necessarily wanting to be in Clubhouse, but people who are connected to me through my phone contacts. I can also look at a calendar and actually have a look at the things that have been scheduled in the clubs I follow and the rooms I follow. So I'm just going to pop out of this other room. I'm going to leave quietly and then pop back into the things that are coming up. So the calendar of things are coming up and I can set myself to be reminded. So this room here was sometimes you have to unfollow people in real life. If I wanted to chat with that and come into that one, I could hit that bell and be reminded of it. So if I hit that bell again, I'll be reminded that it's coming up. There you go. So I can follow all the speakers. I don't particularly want to do that, so I'm going to pop back out again. Breakfast with the Cartel is very much an American and a London thing because it's breakfast over there. Aussie Business Setting Goals of 5:30. That's one I wouldn't mind jumping into. It sounds like a really, really good one with Kate Gibson and Justin Barnes. So that's something I can hop into. I've already set that to be reminded because it's part of my Vegemite on Toast club that I'm part of. So I get reminded of all the things in that club that are coming up and about to happen. And as we go a bit further down, we can see there's more of them. So I can see all the different things that I may be interested in going seeing within the app. Popping back out of there, of course, and then we're back on the main screen where everything's happening. Again, I can look at all the activity that's in my notifications. I can look at the calendar of things that are coming up for me. And I can look at the availability of my invites and who I can start to invite. And I can also relook at my profile. So I want to look at my bio and make changes to it. I can. I've got settings here for the actual room. So I can say, okay, I've got these settings. I can change my interests or add more or take them away. It's all part of the settings within my bio. And I can also pause notifications, include trending rooms. So it'll throw me up. I'm sort of in the page, the kind of rooms that are doing quite well and I might be interested in. And I can also disconnect my Twitter and my Instagram profiles if I don't want them showing on there as well. So back in here, if I want to change my name, I can't do it now because I've already done it. I tap on my name. So where it says @DigitalDante towards the top of the left screen, I tap on that. Now it tells me I can't change it. So that's fine. That's the idea that if you have only set yourself your original username, if you tap on your username in your profile, in your bio, then you'll be able to change that just the once. Remember I was telling you about that earlier? Just change it the once and you'll be able to do it. It gives me a rundown of who my followers are. So I can look at the whole list of people who are following me. So I can go property developers, Barsha Garbowski, Shane Jayatalaka, let me see, Kayleen Latimer, probably someone I should be maybe interested in intellectual property law. Yeah, why not? I'm going to follow her. She sounds really interesting. So it's worth checking into the people who follow you, your followers, to see who is worth following back. It's still, now at the moment, it's a small enough place where it's kind of like, oh, you follow for follow, all that sort of thing. But I'm really kind of, not necessarily want to follow everyone who follows me because I may not be really connected to them in such a way. And the more people I follow, the more recommendations I'm going to get that may not be appropriate for what my interests are. So I'll get a bit of a mixed up feed on Clubhouse back when I'm in the hallway. Back here, I'm getting sort of things that are not really appropriate to me. But Marketers Assemble, Aussie Business Setting Goals, Kiwi Nighttime Hangout, they might all be things that I'm really interested in. I'm not a Kiwi, by the way, but it might be fun to do that. Marketing that works in 2021, that might be interesting, but honestly, I'm not finding that interesting at all. You can go down. Now, the one thing you might be able to do that's just really fun is start a room. So I can just go start a room, and it says, am I starting an open room so anyone can join? Am I starting a social room where I'm only going to invite people who are known? So on social, it's starting a room with the people I follow only. So that's all it's going to be. Open is for everyone, social for the people I know, and closed is a room for just the people I specifically choose. So if I wanted to start a private room to have a private conversation, I can invite certain people to come in and ping them, and they can come on in. Now, another thing I can do is I can open rooms within other clubs. I can open a room within Vegemite Toast, which will actually notify people in the Vegemite Toast Club that there is a new room open and here's the topic of that particular room. I can also do it within small business owners worldwide or the Sunshine Coast Business Network as well. So if I start rooms within those, members of those particular clubs will be then connected through to know that there's a new room opened up within that club, and it'll introduce me to more people. So the idea would be, if I want to grow myself into the Sunshine Coast, be a great place to start opening a room. Vegemite on Toast for now is fine for me because there's a lot of Aussies, about 5,500 in there that are doing that. Now, what you've got to do before you open the room is, of course, add a topic. This is very important because that tells people what your room is about. So if I click on add a topic and call it, let's say ASBAS Digital Solutions Open House. I set that topic and then I go, okay, now I've got that. It tells me, do I want to open it within Vegemite on Toast? Do I want to open it within small business owners? Do I make it a closed one for just people I invite, for the people I follow, or open it up to the whole world? Now, with the amount of clubs and the amount of houses going on, amount of rooms going on right now, if you were to open up something very new as a person who doesn't really know a lot of people, and you're not connected to a lot of people, then you're probably not going to get too many people coming in. That said, I did one night start off a Ask a Territorian room, which is all about asking people from the Northern Territory about what it's like to live in the Northern Territory. And it ended up, I thought no one would come in. Then a mate saw it, he popped in, and then someone else popped in with us, and then another guy popped in. Before we knew it, we had 57 people who were all joining in with that particular topic. So I'm not going to start a new room just now. I'm just going to pull that down and go back to my screen. Anytime you want to refresh, pull it down, and it will refresh and bring up something new. Now, it's not quite 5:30 p.m. Where this particular Australian business setting goals room is, but if it was there, I could click on it and off I go and join a new room. Down the bottom is just like it's like sliding left. So I go slide left, I come up with my active clubs and who in my network, who I'm network to, is available to chat. So that little, the dots just takes you into there. So there's also, for instance, I can hide rooms away. So that room that I can undo that nice room, nice people only, I'm not really interested in that room. So I can slide that to the right and it hides it away. Marketing, product launch blueprint, I'll keep that one for now. Healthcare, I'm not interested in. Kiwi Club, I'm not really a Kiwi, so I'm going to get rid of that one. This one doesn't even have a name for it, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Gold Coast, I'll look at that one later. I wouldn't mind knowing what that all is. The digital marketing launch, I'm just not going to go with that. I'm going to get rid of that one. The conscious business brainstorm, so that sounds like it might be interesting. A Christian believer in having an abortion, not really interested in that topic. Ladies, things a man will do when he really loves you. Yeah, not really interested in that sort of stuff either. Taleb versus Peterson, again, not interested. That one's in Russian, not interested. So you go through and get rid of things. As you start to hide these rooms, it kind of gets an idea of who you are as a person and what you're actually going to be interested in. So I work at a hedge fund. I don't care. Breakfast with Winners is in the UK. Don't care. Don't want to see that again. Again, Russian. Kitty's Place with live music. Not really interested. I don't know what that is. Doesn't have a name. Overnight gains. So join and pink. That's to do with Bitcoin again. There's a lot of Bitcoin going on and a lot of scammers, and there's a lot of really nasty people on here too. The key is though, you find the nice things that you follow that you're interested in, hop in, have a listen, get a feel for it to make sure you're not stepping into a lion's den without you knowing what people are really like in that room and whether this particular room is going to be good for you, whether you're going to be able to, understand what's going on. And secondly, be able to listen, and then perhaps if it's like a very particularly small room, you might actually ask to participate as well. So just a really quick recap as we go around. Search, you can find people and find clubs, or go down here and explore a bunch of topics. So for instance, knowledge, and you go and look for things that might be interesting to you. Back again, you go to this one. It's your list of contacts that you can invite people to. This is a list of what's coming up, of things that you follow and have subscribed to. This is your activities, so things that like are happening at the moment, or your notifications, if you like, of what's going on in the app that's related to you. Your bio at the top, you can change this in here, just tap into it and you'll be able to change it in here like this. For some of these formatting, you probably have to have a bit of a play around with it. In your settings, within your bio is where you can change the frequency of notifications if you want less or more. Include trending rooms in there, pause the notifications, look at the interests that you're actually following or interests that you might be able to follow so you can get a bit more of an idea of what's going on and what you can look at. So for instance, I might look at the hustle sort of room, pitch practice stocks, not really. Angel investing, engineering, crypto, none of those are really interesting to me. For entertainment, podcasts are really good for me. I like podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Storytelling, anime and manga, maybe. I was looking for something like Star Trek or Star Wars. They certainly get me in there. Some places, if I want to follow, there's some ideas for you, but you can type in some of your own as well. In the arts, I might want to look at, okay, art, writing, sci-fi, and maybe sci-fi I'm going to follow. So I'm really into sci-fi. Advertising, design, maybe photography, theatre, Burning Man, anything that will have an interest. I add those interests, then I go back, and that's going to give me more things that I'll be able to see on my home screen as it gets to know what it is I'm actually looking for in my experience with Clubhouse. And a recap, starting a room, big green button at the bottom. You decide whether you're going to start an open room for the world, a social room for just the people who you follow, a closed room just for people who you want to specifically add one by one, a room within a club that you are already a member of. And remember, you need to be invited to become part of a member of a club. And then you add a topic. Before you go any further, add your topic. So it shows up in the top there. So marketing that works in 2021 here, that's because they added that topic in there. And that, my friends, is about all you need to know about Clubhouse to begin with. Now, I'm just going to unshare that screen and go back to our main screen so we can see a little bit more about, I guess, strategy when it comes here. So I'm going to share the screen over this way. And we're going to look at, now we're not so much in the Clubhouse app itself. We're going to look at sort of ways of thinking of strategy when it comes to Clubhouse, making Clubhouse work for you as a business owner. So there's two approaches you could look at. There's bringing your own audience into Clubhouse or growing a new audience already in Clubhouse. So with you bringing your own audience, there's a bit of a process of you schedule a room. So as you go to start that room, you don't have to make that room go live straight away. You can schedule that room for a certain day and time. You can then promote your room elsewhere. Every room has a link that you can link to in your social media posts, anything like that gives you a chance to share with others what your posts coming up are going to be. You can invite people in where you can as well. So you invite people if they've got iPhones and you've got invites to be able to share, and they're doing things outside there that are already doing all sorts of stuff that's going to get you moving onto that platform and getting people knowing who you are. That's where you can share a whole lot more stuff that you can do with I guess with just bringing people on the platform and sharing a little bit of your expertise or sharing a bit of the fun of being on there. So yeah, number one, schedule a room. Make sure you schedule it for a time that you've got plenty of time to promote it. Promote it through your social media channels, email marketing, website, wherever you're going to be, and then invite people into the room where you can. Now, the other way is to grow an audience that's already happens to be on the platform. So in this, the growth pattern is generally you participate in rooms where you may be invited up to speak. So going with smaller rooms to begin with, practice your way of talking, practice your way of introducing yourself. So you're not going, get really smooth with that, because nothing more annoying than listening to it. If you're listening to radio and you hear someone who doesn't know how to talk, it becomes a very uninviting, uninspiring experience, right? So if you want to participate in rooms, be ready to speak in rooms, especially if they're small ones. It's good practice in small rooms. No one's going to crucify you if you say, no, if you don't quite know what you're doing. We're pretty welcoming people on the platform. We're generally going to help you out with how to use it. Follow and be followed is the key. Make sure that when you're in a room, follow the people who have similar interests to you, people who you want to sort of get in their network, follow them, and the chances are they may follow you as well if you contribute to that room. So you go into a room and you contribute and you actually do some stuff which is great, then people will naturally want to follow you as well. Follow them back, and then you'll actually be able to talk and connect even offline to other places like Instagram and Twitter and have a conversation about other stuff. And then invite them to other platforms. So get them off of Clubhouse to be able to talk to them a bit more about your business and about how you're going to interact with them. And the other platforms really are Twitter and Instagram. They're really, and that's all the stuff in your bio. So you can link only to Twitter and Instagram directly, but you can put information about others in your bio. You probably noticed when I brought up my bio before, it actually had lists of all the things: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all those, so people could find them and connect with me through those ones as well. Some ideas what you might want to do when you get into Clubhouse and set up your own rooms. It's very good for running conferences. One of the best things I ever saw was what was called the Clubhouse Summit. There's a bunch of people getting together as speakers and experts. You know, it's been around 5 minutes, but there's already apparently experts on it, on how to use Clubhouse to grow business and how to use Clubhouse to grow influence and audience. You could use your Clubhouse rooms for things like fireside chat. So you invite yourself and a couple of other people that you want to do as an interview style. Think of the podcast where a host will bring in an expert from a particular area and have a bit of a chat with them about their background, what they're doing, what are the things they're recommending, the tools they're using. That's always very interesting because it's stuff that us outside like to listen to in podcasts. So likewise, it's something that we'd like to listen to live on Clubhouse as well. An AMA, or an Ask Me Anything, is a great way if you've already got a following, you've got listeners, and you've got people who are very interested in you, and you've got a following in the real world. That's a great way to get people to respond, ask you questions, and showcase your expertise. Any way that you can showcase your expertise means you've got a way of getting your influence way beyond where you're normally going to have it. So it's not just your influence amongst your people on Facebook, it's actually getting the people who are not connected with you on Facebook, not connected with you on LinkedIn, and reaching a new audience outside of where you normally are. I've got a bit of a testimonial, a bit of feedback later on that I'll share with you before we go. I've only got a few minutes left. The collaboration is great because you invite people in those private rooms and collaborate over ideas. So you can bring some people in who you already know from work, and then you can have a live chat about it in the same way you would do on a Zoom call or a Teams call, except it's just audio, so you don't have to put on your good shirt just to go on the camera. Learning is very good when you can listen to people who are better at what you do than you are. You can learn from them about the better ways to do things, the expertise that they bring into the market and into your particular industry. And of course, there's lots of opportunities for networking. Quite often, if you're pulled into smaller rooms and you're asked to go up on stage or asked to speak, you've got an opportunity to give a little bit of a pitch of who you are, what you do, and who you serve. I've got my elevator pitch already set up. My name's Dante St. James. You know how small businesses are finding it increasingly difficult to keep up with digital technologies. Well, I have got a solution for that involves using subsidized government help to get them the help they need, the support they need, and the ongoing coaching they need, at least up until the end of June this year, to get their digital businesses going. And I serve small businesses under 19 employees who are within Northern Territory, Queensland, and Western Australia. So it gives me a really good 30-second spiel that I can go, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is who I'm looking to serve. Great opportunities to do all that sort of stuff in Clubhouse. My own experience has been really interesting. There's been I've set up a number of rooms so far. Some of them have succeeded, some of them have not. I find that Australians are more active online on Clubhouse after hours. So you're tending to talk like from that late in the day. So about 3:30 Eastern time onwards, it starts to get a lot busier. There's not a lot going on early morning, not a lot going on during the day, although lunchtime, we do find a few Aussie clubs starting to fire up around those times as well. One of my greatest experiences with Clubhouse was that within my first week of connecting with people, telling them who I am, what I do, I booked a series of 6 workshops interstate in New South Wales and Queensland that have enabled me to more than pay off the cost of buying the iPhone that I had to buy to get on Clubhouse in the first place. I'm an avowed Android user. I do not use iPhones at all. I haven't used them for many years. So to go and buy a device specifically for that, the deposits for those particular shops paid for that phone 3 times over. So for me, it's been a great experience and it's been a very valuable experience as well. I'd like to thank you for taking some time out tonight to join me. You can join me on Clubhouse, but Digital Dante is who you're going to look for, or just look for me by name. That'll also find me. I'm also Dante St. James on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google My Business, and my email address, dante@treaty.com.au. If you've enjoyed what you've heard and you'd like to know more about the platform or go deeper one-to-one with it, you can always book me an ASBAS Digital Solutions one-to-one session. If you've never done one of those before on the platform, on the program, the first one is free, second is $44, and any after that up until the end of June 2021 is $66. So it's a great way of getting the support and the coaching and the help you need to get going on these digital platforms without spending thousands of dollars to do it. You can get great expertise from myself or a whole lot of others who are on that platform. businessstation.com.au is the place to go, which reminds me too, is that you can see this again on YouTube anytime you like. In the next couple of hours, I'll be loading that up. And also you'll have a chance through the Business Station channel on YouTube and my own one through Dante St. James. Thank you very much. Good night and have a great week. It's been really good having you on here to learn more about taking some time out to spend on your business rather than working just solely in your business.